Me and my loud ass chair is big. I'm back, you guys. I'm back, you guys. I'm back, you guys. Oh my god. As you all know, or may not know if you've been checking community tabs, my microphone was broke. I know, shocker. I have a microphone at the moment that I can use. Sir, I am back or whatever. This chair is uber squeaky, and we're kind of just gonna have to deal. Today, I am coming back to you with two things. I'm going to do a story time because it hasn't been a minute since I've done a story time, honestly, on my channel, but I really want to do one. And I am coming to you with a makeup get ready with me time thing. I don't know. I'm gonna do my makeup while I tell the story time today. That's what's going on. This is not a tutorial on my makeup. I don't really do those. I've been not doing those from time. But if you want to do what I do, if you want to know the products, maybe ask me. But all of these products are old-ish. If not old-ish, then they're old. So I feel like, you know, like whatever you use with your pride, that'll probably do the trick for you. I ain't gonna lie. Without further ado, let's get into this story time. Today the story is going to be about the time that my married supervisor was trying to me. Oh, lordy. This story time takes place when I was 19 and I was working security. Oh wait, hi, my name is Angela Kia. Haha, I be forgetting to do that, my fault. But if you've been on my channel before, then you guys know that I used to work security when I was 19. If you have not been on my channel, then now you know. Welcome to the party. Before I get into who the story is about, let me give you a bit of the background, a little bit of some briefing, so we can see like who we working with, okay? When I used to work security downtown, I would come to work cute, I guess. Like for me, it really wasn't, like I wasn't giving it my best effort at all. I was type putting my hair on and showing up. But I would come and I would have my hair in this super long braid, or like a wig sometimes, a little bob wig or a little, you know, a little closure, just depending on the day. But for the most part, I was coming with my hair slicked back in this really long braid, and the braid like stopped at my calf. And mind you, this was 2019, so it really wasn't a lot of people wearing their hair like uber long like that. I would also wear my nails super long. And because my job was like so male dominated, I would get a lot of comments about my hair or my nails or just overall how I look. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the guys like thought that I was like prissy, or like I was like too pretty to get dirty. Like they just had that opinion of me because of how I looked without even asking or having conversations. One of the upsides, I guess I'll say, about being prejudged is that like the guys would do a lot of the work for me low-key, or like come with me to do like the routes or like to lock up stuff, just to have one conversation, I guess, because they thought I was cool or cute. I don't know, not my babes. And then also too, because they was like, oh, she too prissy, like she don't want to do that. And it's like, truly, I had no problem doing any fucking thing. I was climbing trees and crossing creeks from a youth. I really don't care about dirt. But if they think that I care about dirt and they want to make my job easier, I must oblige. I must. And of course, when I'll be working with these guys, it was literally the men. My sisters never gave it up like this at that job. Shout out to the girls. But when I was working with the men, they would make a lot of comments on my appearance, how I look, and basically just was saying they all basically thought I was cute or whatever. Pretty much is the tea. They all thought I was cute and they all wanted to I'm gonna stop playing, but no, for real, they really did all think I was attractive because they all would talk about it. And I'm like, okay, like it's like I appreciate it, I guess, but I'm just trying to work, like, please. But and however, that was sort of the nature of the relationships with the guys. They thought I was prissy, so they would follow me and help me do my job that I was perfectly capable of doing, long nails or not, and they would like flirt with me or whatever. Mind you, I was 19 and these were grown-ass men. So one officer, he was like 28 and he never flirted with me like that. Shout out to him. Like, I really wish him well. He was a cool nigga. And you know, his counterparts, they was doing too much and they was in their 30s. So Ugh. So now that we got the background, okay, let's get into the story, okay? Now, at this particular location that I worked at downtown, it was actually 2 buildings that my company that I secured for, secured. But my first few weeks, or dare I say like month or some change of working there, I was only trained on 1 building, right? The whole time I was working at that building, I would see the other people scan in and go into the other building, but I never like interacted with them because I was never over there. One day the head of security comes and he's like, "Hey girl, I'm about to have you working over there. You know, are you cool with that? Like, how you feeling?" And I was like, "I can work over there. I just never been trained over there." And he was like, "You ain't been trained over there and you've been here for a month?" And I was like, "I know, right, Bookie?" And he was like, "That's so crazy, Bookie." So he didn't say that. He moved me over there and I started my training. And at first, when I worked with them, I worked morning shift. And this was the same shift where the story where a man had got robbed behind me and I let it rock. Just watch the story, please. Just watch the story. I would recommend you watch that story before or after this one. It doesn't necessarily matter to the flow of this story, but it's a good story. This is that same morning shift with that same manager I was talking about over there. So at first I was working the morning shift with a different manager who was more of a micromanager. Like I said, if you've seen the last Storytime, this was him. And he was a pretty cool manager outside of his micromanaging. Again, that didn't necessarily bother me. I never really had to work with him because the area that I was securing or my post wasn't by him at all. So I would really only see him in the morning during the briefing to let us know what we're doing, XYZ. Or like when I went to take my break, if I sat over there, or like if I was ever like having to go to control for whatever reason. So I didn't really interact with him that much, but he was cool. And he was also engaged. So it was like he wasn't on that. He was just there to do his job, which is what they all should have been there to do. But digress. So I worked there doing the morning shift for like a month and some change, perhaps. I don't really know per se, but it was a little bit. Then eventually, the head of security again was like, "All right, like, you know the building, you're trained. Do you want to come and do second shift?" And I was like, "All right." And this is where we meet the head of our story. And we are going to call him Brooklyn because he was from Brooklyn and he would talk about that all the time, even though he had that damn Brooklyn accent. But hey, where you're from is none of my business, okay? I ain't did my makeup in a grip. What do I do after this typically? Powder? Okay, I guess I powder. I met Brooklyn a little bit before I actually worked in the building, but it wasn't like we had conversation. It was like I said hello to him while moving through some doors. Like it was not all that. The first day on that shift, the head of security meets me. He's like, "All right, Brooklyn, this is Angel Brooklyn. She's your rover for today." And rover is just the security guard that like walks around the building and secures the building, as opposed to an actual location where they don't move from. The rover moves around the building. If that doesn't make sense, it's kind of irrelevant. But I meet Brooklyn. Brooklyn's cool. You know, he got on a do-rag and some more shit. So I'm like, oh, he one of them. Like, already I knew he was going to hit it off. As soon as my general manager leaves, I'm waiting to see what Brooklyn does. Because like I said, the other person I had on that shift was a micromanager. Everyone didn't micromanage at that job. Only that particular manager did. So I was asking him like, okay, how do you do your routes? How do you do your patrols? Do you want me to call into you every time? Like, how do you do it? And he was like, "I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty laid back. You know, you do your routes every hour. You can come and sit down." Because mind you, when I was doing second shift, the building closed at 5 p.m. So after 5 o'clock, it was really no reason to be standing around, because in the morning when I had the micromanager, after I did my patrols, like I would still have to be around the building just to be seen, let people know we had security, and to be on my feet. But after the building is closed, outside of your hourly patrols, there's nobody in the building to be seen by. So it was sort of like, you know, what's the point? So that's exactly what he said, pretty much. He was like, you know, after 5, you can come sit down or you can stand around or whatever, but it's just like, you know, we're closed, so I don't be tripping like that. I was like, okay, cool. I'm pretty social. I've always been social. If you see from my other story times about my other jobs, I be chatting it up. I be trying not to, but I just can't help it. This particular building had way more officers than the other building that I used to secure had. So it was like I was in there chatting it up all day, low-key. I was having a blast. Brooklyn at first, like I said, he was really, really cool. He was from Brooklyn. I learned he was married. He was like 30-something years of age. And he was calm. No shade. He was just the guy. You know what I mean? Like, he was very, like, he was cool. I didn't think too much of him as far as, like, on a personal tip. I thought he was cool. And I liked how he was laid back. At this point, it had been some time since me and Brooklyn would work together. And like I said, this was the building where all the guys thought I was like prissy or thought I was like too cute to do my job, even though I was literally nothing of the sort. They just assumed that of me. This was literally when that started happening. Also, I noticed a lot of security officers would try to flirt with me or talk about other security guards that used to work there before I even got there and how they were attractive. And I'm just like, you guys are grown men and you're married. And these are your conversations?
I say that to say that by this point, I was so used to guys flirting that I sort of didn't even pay it any full mind, you know what I mean? And in my day-to-day life, before I went to work security, they never gave it up like this. Like, this was the first time I ever experienced guys really trying to come on to me, and also the first time I worked in security. So I was just in my head like, I guess this is what it means to be a woman in security, and this is what it means to be, I guess, desired. So I was still learning how to navigate that and how to navigate my boundaries within it. And so around this time, we started having a lot of conversations after the buildings were closed, and I was getting to know a lot of the officers, and I was getting to know Brooklyn.
Me and Brooklyn, as we got to know each other more, we started having a bit more personal conversations. I'm pretty private, which is funny. The girl with the YouTube channel was private. Yeah, I'm pretty private though. So a lot of times when I would talk to people, especially back then, they would kind of tell me all of their business, and I would share what I was comfortable with. But I was used to, and still to a degree, used to people telling me like so much about themselves. So that was pretty much how our conversations would go. Like, he would tell me so much about his wife and his life. And mind you, I was fully asking questions and asking, and it wasn't like I was like not interested in these. It's just I wouldn't necessarily share as much about myself as he shared about himself. We're having more conversations. I'm learning more about him, who he is outside of work. One day we're having a conversation and we get onto the topic of relations. And he told me like about his wife, and just how like, I guess she didn't do a lot of things that he was used to before he had gotten married. I was like, well, is your wife like the best, I guess, partner you've ever had? He was like, no, and I'm glad she never asked me that. And I was like, oh, okay. So the conversation flows to other things that I genuinely cannot recall. I just remember that one because I remember being shocked that he was like, she was not. I'm like, dang, like I don't know. Anyway, men. So I guess now I know his business. I know a little bit about his wife. I know a little bit about their tea.
Now, mind you, like I said, we were having so many personal conversations, not even just me and Brooklyn, but me and literally every single officer. So, like, this information is crazy, but in the context of the job, like, it was so many people that talked about their wives or their kids or their lives or the beef they had with their cousin on their daddy side. Like, I just knew so much miscellaneous shit. So for me, it wasn't really a red flag that he told me about his wife and his business, because I probably done got somebody business told to me 5 fucking times that day. Do you get me? So, like, is it appropriate? No. But in the context, it's not crazy because this job was literally bonkers. Get me?
I don't remember how or like why, but I ended up getting his number, and I had a bunch of their numbers actually from the job, because like I said, we were all cool, and it wasn't like a thing of like we hanging out. Because another thing to me being private was like I didn't really be hanging out with people like that. I was selective at the time with who I chose to hang out with. I still am like that. So I sort of just had their numbers on some just in case to have it, because we worked together. And they were cool people when we worked together at the time. I didn't think anything was bad at that time. I ended up getting his number. I don't know how. I truly cannot remember. I would text him sometimes about like if I was finna be late on the shift. I would text him, and I would text the head of security sometimes if I was late, because I took the train to work. And sometimes I wouldn't even text him. I would just like call the actual like office and be like, hey, I'm about to be late. That's what we would text about, I believe. I don't remember actually having any conversations with the man because he was married, like I said. And also, too, he was a grown-ass man. Like, what are we talking about? I'm 19. Work conversations is one thing, but, like, outside of work, we can't form no relationship. You're a grown man. At least that's how I felt. That's how I felt. Mind you, like I said, getting to know Brooklyn, a bit about his personality, like, people thought I was prissy. And I feel like if I told them I literally lived in the ghettos my entire life and still am there now, I feel like they just wouldn't believe that. So sometimes I would have conversations with Brooklyn and he would be like, oh, like, I guess he would think that I was being fake hood or something. Or like, honestly, I can't really put a finger on what it was. But something was like, I would say certain things or do certain things. And I feel like he would be caught off guard. That I guess I was like that or I talk like that or anything. And I'm like, nigga, like, no funny shit. Like, I be chilling. And again, y'all don't know my business. But I don't know. I really can't put into words what it was. But the only reason I said that is because to try to explain the next bit. Because I truly don't know what the fuck he was talking about. One day in particular, I was chilling doing me. And I don't remember if I was at work or had work this day as to why this conversation started. But all I know was I was chilling doing me and I had got a text on my phone from Brooklyn. I wish I still had the text. I used to have it on my spam, but then I deleted it. But the text said something along the lines of, hey, you know, I really been interested in liking our conversations. I really would like to get to know you, but I'm not selfish. You know, I can just be your friend and get to know you, whatever you want to do. And then he sent another text like, you know, I feel like I can make your ghetto hood side come out and wooty 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 woo, but you know, I'm not selfish. I can have you just as a friend if you don't want to do anything like that. Da 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 da. What the fuck is this nigga talking about? Like, what? My ghetto ratchet side. What are you talking about? You think this is hustle and flow? Like, what's going on? I'm looking at the messages and I'm remembering in my mind all the conversations we had about him being a married fucking man. Like, what are we talking about? You want to make my ghetto come out and you're not selfish. First of all, sir, you're married. You're proposing to cheat on your wife with me. And you don't think that selfish isn't how you would describe that? Men are sick. Y'all, I ran out of storage, so I don't really know how much of this story we're gonna get through, but I'm gonna try to talk a little faster so we can get to it, okay? So he sent me that text message and I replied, and I was trying to be like, I wasn't trying to be witty. I was being fucking for real, but I feel like he took it in the wrong way. Cause he said something about he can handle me. That's what it was. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know about me, but you can handle your wife. Cause like you're married, you know what I mean? And I guess he took that like if I was stroking his ego and being like, yeah, cause you got a good handle on your wife. Instead of what I was trying to do, which was to be like, nigga, fuck with your wife. Like, why you talking to me? He was like, yeah, you know how I give it up. Da 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 da. And I was like, oh my gosh, ew. Like I accidentally stroked his ego, and I was just trying to remind him that he's married. And you know what? That was really disgusting. So I ended up being like, no, nigga. What are you talking about? After that, I ended up going to work with him again. And I wasn't sure how it was gonna be because you literally just tried to fuck with me. And mind you, I'm 19 and he was like 36 or some shit. And this is what I want to say to y'all. To my younger girlies out there. Your morals and your ethics shouldn't start at the point that legality begins. If I was 16 and it was legal to mess with a 16-year-old, some of these 30-year-old men would mess with 16-year-olds if it was legal. So when I tell you that your morals and your ethics should not start where the law begins, that's what I mean. So don't let these men come and try to tell you at your ripe age of 19, just jumped off the porch of legal, that, oh, you're so mature for your age. You're not. They are immature at their 32-year-old age, and that's nasty. I'm telling you, if the law said they could mess with 16-year-olds, these men, these predators, these women, these predators would be out here messing with 16-year-olds. And so I say that to say, if there's any older man that wants to mess with you at 19, 20, like 25 and up, want to mess with you at 19, you need to run away, okay? Far. And I'm being so serious. You need to run away. There's a reason your auntie them is not fucking with these men. And these women too. Be careful. Okay. So boom, I'll go back to work or whatever. And I didn't know if it was gonna be awkward with what's the name or not. Because we just had a whole like, you just try to fuck with me. Like I didn't know if it was gonna be awkward. But it was actually fine. Oh, I fucked up a little bit. That's okay. But it was actually fine when I went back to work. It was another older security guard officer there. And he told me, like, the officer was like, oh, like, she mad cute. Like, I bet it's fun to work with her. And Brooklyn was like, oh, you know, it's cool. It's whatever. Da-da-da. Trying to downplay it like if he wasn't just on my phone trying to cheat. I feel like I messed my eyeshadow up a little bit. But, y'all, since it said no storage, like, I'm literally in here like, I gotta hurry up. So if my makeup is messed up a little bit, we're gonna charge it to the game, no any, okay? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was wondering like if I should tell his wife, but I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't have her number. I don't want to try to figure a way to finesse and finagle her number. Like, it was just a fucked up situation for me on my end, for my sister, because he called you every day at this job. He talks to her on the phone. And at the same breath, he's at this same job trying to cheat on her. And I know I was not the first woman he did that with. I just felt bad for her. Because I'm like, damn, like, he's up at this job and you on the phone with him. And you probably on something like, oh, I'll be on the phone with him. Like, he not doing no shit. And yes, he is. Or yes, he was. And that is really something. And I felt bad for her. After that, we kind of worked normally. He wouldn't flirt with me, I guess I'd say, as much. But I was aware that he thought I was cute, so I feel like that was kind of never gonna change now, because I know you was wanting to cheat with your wife with me. Like, first of all, I don't want that karma, and two, I would never do another one of my sisters like that. Get the fuck. And then another situation happened, which one day I will talk about maybe, because it's kind of a little dramatic, but another situation happened with the whole other thing, and I ended up quitting that job on some like, I don't feel alright here. After I quit that job, I ended up blocking him, and low-key I blocked everybody the fuck else except for one other girl, just on some like collateral, because I'm like, if I block him, it was this other lady who I used to talk to, who honestly I really wish her well. I wish her the best, but I blocked her too because I was like, if she calls me and he on some like, where you at, I don't want to talk to him type shit. And I was 19. I was still young. I was still trying to figure out how to process my emotions and set my boundaries, and I'm still very much learning how to set my boundaries. People pleaser, stand up. Okay, let's sit back down, girl. Hopefully next time when I X that, we ain't gonna be standing. I ended up quitting that job, and I blocked everybody on collateral. So, except for one girl who to this day, she can hit me up. Well, I don't know. I changed my number, and I don't think I gave her that number. But we still cool on socials. If anybody from this job see this and you're not Brooklyn, hello. How you doing? I hope you're swell. My bad that I blocked you, but it was just on some, you know what I mean? I want to finish my makeup, but I kind of want to do it off camera. The only thing I have to do now is eyes, lips, and beauty marks. And my brows. So maybe should I do that on camera? I'm gonna do little bits and bobs, okay? Put on the wrong fucking mascara by accident. I grabbed the wrong lip liner. I keep grabbing the wrong things. You can tell it's been a minute. You can just tell. Okay, guys, this is the finished look. I'm in my jams, but I just want to go ahead and end the video off because, like I said, storage. But I thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. And what I want to say in this video, that at no way, shape, nor form, okay, in the future, I would say stay away from super personal talk when you're at work, especially when it comes to relations and what people do like with their partners, because it does blur the lines a bit. I was 19 and I wasn't necessarily like aware of that.
Baby, my storage cut right on out. So pretty much right here, what I'm trying to say is that in the future, I feel like definitely try to keep a level of professionalism at the job and keep from going to uber personal conversations, because it can unintentionally blur the lines. And now, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that it is my fault nor responsibility that grown-ass men don't know their boundaries with a 19-year-old, because it is still a level of naivete that you have with people that are younger than you. And now that I know, as someone who's 23, it's just certain things I wouldn't do or try to take advantage of people that are younger than me, and that's very fucking weird. So in no way, shape, or form am I blaming myself, but I'm saying that this situation did teach me to just be a bit less open and chill and lax when it comes to the personal information sides of things, because it can blur the lines, and unfortunately a lot of people don't know their boundaries. So it is up to me to learn my own and, respect them. You know what I mean? Because everybody ain't gonna respect your boundaries, and everybody isn't even gonna respect boundaries just overall as a whole. So that is what I learned. That is what I have to say. Methinks. I feel like that's pretty much it. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. I love y'all so much. Comment, like, subscribe, share, all the things if you so choose. If you like it here, I hope you like it here. Be safe. Be kind to yourself. The world is literally bonkers. So, be kind to others at the very least. Be kind to yourself, because you deserve it, okay? I love you very, very much. Happy end of the year. Oh my God, 2024. I'll see you guys next year.